And good morning to you. A little 8 and a few seconds after 8 minutes and a few seconds after the 8 o'clock. I mean the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Look, fantastic day out there. Come out. It's crisp. For those of you all that love it, cool. It's cool. A little frost was on things this morning, so hopefully you didn't have flowers out or something like that because they could have been damaged. But I know it was like 90 degrees a day or so ago, and now here we are back to this kind of stuff, or whatever. So the high today is supposed to be 61, tomorrow 71, Sunday 73, Monday 73, and Tuesday drops down to a high of 49. So it starts off at 32. Anyway, today we have Jay and DL on the line, and good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning to the both of you.
Yeah, so what's the weather like in Durham, Jay?
It's about the same. Chilly. It really is amazing that Wednesday I'm walking, it is in, I think it was like 88 to 87 degrees.
Right.
Yesterday, a lot of rain and chilly, and then today's chilly, but it's nice that it's about to start warming up again and then getting cold. But I think we're done with snow. I don't think we're going to have any more winter weather, my opinion.
Okay, cool. So, DL, what's going on in the Charlotte area?
It's about 45 right now.
Okay, cool. Well, look, a couple things we'll talk about this morning. One thing we had on our list, just talk about some of these cities. So now, Jay, you have experience as being an associate or an assistant city manager. What's going on? I mean, I'm looking at Cary, I'm looking at Rocky Mount. Of course, Spring Lake is a town. And you know quite a bit about that, but I just don't understand, the knowledge of things, because I definitely want to talk a little bit about Rocky Mount. But let's go a little closer to home and talk about what happened in Spring Lake. So yesterday we had the mayor in, and she was talking. She said, look, the guy that we had, I forget his name now, but he really knows his stuff. He was very compliant. They were from under the watchdog group for the
LGC.
The state treasurer's office, and felt like he was moving them in the right direction. But according to her now, she said yesterday, they brought in someone that has no experience whatsoever managing a city or a town. And, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would just say this. I'm not sure. They had some new commissioners come on board during the election.
They did.
And I think what's really important here is they were moving in the wrong direction for several years. Under the LGC guidelines, you had the state auditor in, and they got a very positive report less than a year ago. Right. Things were definitely moving in the right direction. Their budget was looking good, and they had things in a very positive manner. We talked to the mayor, and then all of a sudden it was, I guess, a few weeks ago, they take a vote and they decide sort of just totally blindsiding the mayor and I know Sonia Cooper, and I think one other, that they decided to just remove the city manager, who had no issues whatsoever, bring in, as you said, someone with no experience, and that's a real problem. And trust me, the state auditor and LGC is going to be looking at that and going to have major concerns because you don't want to bring in leadership that doesn't have the experience to lead. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but I got to tell you, a lot of red flags are going up with those decisions in Spring Lake. And I am concerned because they really were moving in the right direction. I'll tell you, I'm clueless. Not sure exactly why they're doing what they're doing. Not good, though.
So now, question. A city or a town, do they have to operate in the black too. Like they got a budget and all that. So they come up with an annual budget. I mean, there are rules that they have to go by. I would think.
Right. You have to have like an 8%, at least an 8% fund balance. Yeah, I mean they have to operate, in the black. And I think the biggest issue is you have inexperience leading an organization that's had previous problems, and city manager is the one that is really running the city. That's the manager's responsibility. It's the council's responsibility to oversee, the budget. It's really, I got to tell you, I've never seen a decision made like that, especially in a North Carolina town where they're selecting a city manager or a county manager, whatever, that has zero experience. And this person has zero experience. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And then I think you mentioned earlier what's happened in Rocky Mount. That's even a more serious situation. And if you want to talk about that, I'd be happy to just share a little bit about what went on there for the last 3 years until they, the auditor was involved, and they just did. Dave Boliak did a press conference for about 2.5 years on a monthly basis. They were operating about $3 million in the red, and you can't operate like that. They were using money that they didn't have to pay other bills. Really bad situation. They're in deep doo-doo, as they would say.
Sure. Well, look, I do want to talk about that. I want to get a comment from DL too, if he wants to chime in on that situation in Spring Lake.
Well, no, I'll touch on Rocky Mount. Jay, what's going on in Rocky Mount? Because Rocky Mount just got in about, what, was it 22? When they got rid of Rochelle Small-Tony, who came from Fayetteville, who they ran out of Georgia for mismanagement. So what's going on in Rocky Mount now?
Oh, you hadn't heard?
So,
oh, Lord.
Oh, it's a mess. It's really this is the most serious issue that they've been in. Much more serious than when Miss Small-Tony was here. With Rochelle, there were some issues with some. They spent, I think, $70,000 or $80,000 on a bathroom renovation in the office. There were some other issues, but this is more serious. On a monthly basis, they were operating about $3 million in the red, and you do the math on that over 2.5 years, it's like $70-80 million.
That's right.
That's big problem. So now the state auditor is involved. I'm sure the LGC will be involved. I'm not sure what happens next, but it's very serious mismanagement.
So
yeah,
I mean,
Rocky Mount.
Go ahead.
One second, Troy. Now, Rocky Mount was a real small town. That'd be one thing, and it's not, because part of Rocky Mount is in Nash County and part of it is in Edgecombe County, and so you can't say, well, we're gonna take your charter. It's a hot mess. Go ahead, Troy.
No. I guess my question was going to be, so, all right, the board or the council, they come up with the budget, correct?
Correct. The staff develops the budget.
Staff develops the budget.
And the council approves the budget.
Then they approve the budget. And
correct.
And that's how they spend forward, correct?
That's correct.
So what I'm saying, but now, if they get off track, who should be looking at that? I'm a little lost. I mean, who should be?
So you have a like in Fayetteville, they do it the right way. They have an internal auditor.
Okay.
And the internal auditor, plus you have annually you have an audit. So you have an external, you have a company that comes in and does your annual audit, and everything looks good. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do your audit. In Rocky Mount, I'm not sure what the heck happened. I can't imagine they have an internal auditor, because that would have been definitely a red flag. But they knowingly were doing that. Now, what I don't understand is how the council members were not aware of that. I mean, there's just so many red flags there. So not really big problems in Rocky Mount. They probably need a major overhaul of their city manager's office.
Right. Now I'm circling back around to Spring Lake because that's right here beside us. So, all of the drama that they had in there with these cards, let's talk about these cards. I call them credit cards, really. I guess they can, use the card to get stuff.
They call them P cards in our business, purchasing cards. And the P cards, that was when I was working there. There was abuse where people were charging things that were not permissible or that were not approved, and that was another big mess. And again, there were tens of thousands of dollars that were charged. And then you also had, before the mayor came on board, you had the finance director. There was, I think, $500,000 embezzled.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It was $500,000.
How could a person in a governmental agency embezzle that kind of money? Because it wasn't a one-time hit. How could they embezzle that much money and not get caught for that amount of time?
They don't have the safeguards in place. So, an internal auditor would find that. But when you don't have safeguards in place in an organization, I just have to mention there is a very briefly, I'll find the name of it during the break, but there is a great documentary about a woman, I believe it was in Illinois, in a small town. Over, I think, 20 years, she took about $27 million.
Oh, my God.
And it was a small town. Yeah, it's an incredible story. But what was really amazing is that people thought she came from a wealthy family, and she had horses and this big home.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Over 20 years, she ended up, the city didn't have the sidewalks they needed and the roads. They had all these shortfalls, all because of this one person, and there was no internal auditor. And it was like, how can a small town lose that kind of money? But again, it's incredible. It's a great documentary, and it's a must-see for local government.
Sure. Well, look, one more while we're at cities. DL in Cary, now the SBI is involved in that one.
Yeah, that's a mess.
Here's my thing, Troy and Jay. Folks, and I've talked to you during the week, folks have to want to do right. I don't care what color you are, whether you're rich, poor, or billionaires. If nobody's going to hold you accountable, we just have bad actors. Because Jay, you call them P cards. You need to do like the DOD. When I was, all military soldiers should have what they call a government travel card because they have to travel to training. I know in the Guard Reserve. And basically, before you go traveling, this is your rate for per diem, this is your hotel, this is your lodging. We're going to prove all this before you leave. So you're good. When you come back, if you submit something over the authorized limit, the government's only paying for what they authorize, and you have to pay the rest. And that government charge card's in your name, but you're still responsible for paying that bill. We just need to be doing that in all levels of government. But, they had a situation in Fayetteville State a year and a half ago. And
remember that?
Yeah, exactly. That's correct.
Nobody's been charged. So somebody's going to do it again. Well, that person didn't get charged. So they're going to do it again. And it's because it's all taxpayers' money. If it was their personal money, this wouldn't be happening.
Let me just say something, too. In Fayetteville, they do it right. Council members get an ethics training. School of Government provides great training. So city council gets ethics training. Management goes through an ethics training program. And that's really important because, at the end of the day, it is taxpayer dollars, and you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. I mean, I always looked at it like this. When I worked in government, there were two things I looked at. I always thought about, if this was my money, would I do that? And the second thing is, before making a purchase, before doing something, is this something I'd want on the front pages of the newspaper? And that was something I learned a long time ago. Really, is this a story that I would want to see on the front pages? And that would really sort of put you in place doing the right thing.
Right. Well, look, let me ask you a question, though. Does ethic training make people ethical? Now, I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
I am.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But I think it lets you. I think ethics training really just lets you know about what's right and wrong and what the expectations are. But you're right. Look at Kerry. Here's a guy that was there 10 years. They decide to go on a business trip. His staff stays at a very below average or average hotel.
Motel
He's
6.
A 5-star hotel. Yeah, right. He's staying in a 5-star hotel.
Right.
Then they find out he spent taxpayer dollars to give one of his council members money for their master's degree. Okay, and that was another red flag. And then you find out about his first year, they found him at a drug house or something, and they found his license plate was at a drug house. So now the FBI is investigating other charges that he did during his, plus these potential, was he doing buying or selling drugs? Another city that's it's a mess.
Well, Cary, that's Wake County, right there by Raleigh and all that. It's just, I'm not trying to make them all lofty and everything, but I was surprised that Cary.
I was very surprised too. Yeah.
Would be having that kind of an issue. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's the public purse,
so you have 3
guys.
cities.
It's the public purse.
It is. Just do the right thing, as you said, DL. Folks need you're in government. It's such a great opportunity. You can do some great things, but it's such a black eye for a community. And then you have people start thinking, well, wait, if they've done this, what else is going on in the organization? So it leaves people with a lot of questions. And again, it's not a reflection on all local government. Unfortunately, people do stupid things.
True.
And that's the bottom line. People don't use good judgment.
Well, do you believe that, how do you feel about, before we go to the break, how do you feel about them driving governmental cars?
Well, I think I have a very, honestly, governmental cars should be for governmental use only. Now, police officers, I believe, should be able to take their cars home. It's a deterrent in a community when you see a police car in your community. That's a good thing. But other vehicles, I think, should be used for governmental use only, and I think they need to be back in the parking lot at the end of the day. People don't need to be taking those cars. There's no need for it. But police is a different. That's the only one I would believe is okay. But you do have, like in local government, you get vehicle stipends. Managers and typically certain managers will get stipends. So a vehicle stipend could be $300-500 a month, and that can be used for for your vehicle, and that's very common. But vehicles taking home, I just don't believe that's necessary except for law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, I took a vehicle home for, a decade or so. What about you, DL? Were you ever take a governmental vehicle home?
Well, of course, Jay says in most police departments, the larger one like Fayetteville and Raleigh, some of those officers have to take the vehicles home because they wouldn't have any place for them to park. And it is a deterrence in the community. Right now in law enforcement, I've seen Charlotte police cars in South Carolina. I've seen a lot of agencies now. Used to be you had to be within the city limits. Now they're allowing officers to take them out of county. I've seen them they've out of state. Charlotte, like I said, they got to do what they have to do to keep officers because they're letting them wear those beards now, which I don't agree with. But city managers, now the city managers and assistant city managers and PWC commissioners, I think those folks should have cars. And like Jay, if they don't give them city cars, they should be paying them extra money because I expect city manager has a lot to do. He's just not like any other employee, and I think his assistant city manager should have that same type of.
That's how it typically is.
Yeah.
Typically, a vehicle allowance.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
but I think that's reasonable.
If you're sitting at a desk all day, though, I don't know about having a car. I mean, how much travel are you doing? You see what I'm saying? If you're just going from home to work, I mean, that's what your
Yeah, I don't think you need a
subordinates are
car.
doing. I beg your pardon?
So are you talking about city management doesn't need that?
Oh, I'm just saying
Or are you
anybody.
talking about just employees in general?
Employees in general, if the only thing you're doing is going from home to work, now if you got to make stops and go to other things, I understand that. But just going from home to work, I kind of have a little bit of a raised eyebrow at having a government vehicle. I don't see that.
I got it. There's a lot of when you really look at government. I will say this: at the local level, there's a lot less waste than there is at the state level, and that even there is at the federal level. So local government, really in general, I believe, does it right. I think there are more safeguards in local government, and as you go up the ladder, there's more waste. I mean, I just think that's a fact. You see more waste, I think, at the state level, and even the most waste at the federal level. I mean, it's phenomenal how much waste there is at the federal level. It's sad. A lot of tax dollars.
Right. Cool. Well, look, I'm going to go to a break here, come back, guys, and we chat about other things that you all told me you want to chat about on today. Going to take a break inside of the morning show, half past the hour here. Jay and DL are on the line.